Hi everybody, it's Winters again. This is following directly on from the end of the 2000 summon final video. I realised that I meant to talk about what I was doing with my tiny snowman, and I hadn't actually done that yet. So I'll just quickly address that now. So a lot of people have been asking about the artifact. The reality is that the artifact is one of the best artifacts ever released. It's about 30% better than your average orange artifact, which is a lot. It's about 10% better than an exclusive, just on the pure stats, but potentially an exclusive gives you the particular stats that a hero wants and therefore will be more effective, but there is a few heroes that this artifact will be near best in slot for, and possibly for quite some time. The classic case that I'm telling everyone about is Vesa. The issue with Vesa is that as a 10 star she does not have cannot be dodged on either her basic attack or her active, so she gains an immense amount from the 70% chance to hit. If you haven't seen the artifact's final stats, it's 70% chance to hit, 25% attack, 60% skill damage. So if we go back to Vesa, Vesa is also a healer. Now, healers only get healing applied from their base attack value, which means that crits don't matter, skill damage doesn't matter, holy damage doesn't matter. The only thing you care about is scaling the attack. So to that end, attack is the most important stat for Vesa and any other healer, and because of that, the Antler, which has I'll show you some other artifacts that I have. So this is a classic orange artifact. It's 18% attack, 15% crit. The Demon Bell, which is an exclusive availability orange artifact. Again, 18% attack, 14% HP, 50 energy. So the Antler having 25% attack, 7% higher than any other orange artifact, means that this is a god tier item for Vesa. Vesa does ideally want to run crit, because she has a base 35% crit, priests get crit, so crit will give her the most damage, but the fact that she doesn't have any skill damage on her passives means that the 60% skill damage is close to, but not 60% more damage on the active. It is what am I trying to do? It's too there we go. It is 43% more damage on the active, which is, that's quite a lot. So if you're going a full damage Vesa, you would go a crit damage stone, and the Antler artifact, but as I said, for healing purposes you ideally want to go at an attack stone, and then again the Antler artifact. So while the Antler version of Vesa won't have the optimal damage output, it will certainly be the optimal hybrid healer damage version of her, which, if we're going away from having 3-4 priests in some lineups, as you'll see Free Team Arena is dominated by, we have a Rosa, an Emily, a Vesa, and an Ormus all on one team. We have a Vesa, Rosa, Ormus, and a Gurki all on one team. Again, 4 priests. The meta is a little bit priest flooded at the moment. This one's actually not too bad. We've got 2 priests here, just the one here. I believe Sylvex has 2. Actually, I can probably show you. Actually, Sylvex isn't running any. So this sort of lineup of teams will not really be affected by Faithblade. Just good management of CC will be the best way to address Faithblade. There are a couple of heroes that cannot be just one shot by Faithblade, and that doesn't even necessarily require them to be building full tank. It pretty much just requires them to be running a damage reduced artifact, reduced damage artifact. So anyway, getting back to Tiny Snowmen, my plans, like, I was really hoping for summoning a 4th Faithblade so that I could buy my 5th, and then I'd just be able to make a 10-star Faithblade. I didn't quite get there, but the reality is I probably will still buy him, because we're more than likely to get a Faithblade inside the next month as an event reward. To add to that, I'm going to buy the Chaos Messenger skin, because it boosts the crit a little bit, which with an energy artifact the crit is a little bit low at 65%, and it boosts the holy damage, which boosts up your one-shot potential a little bit. So that's my plan with most of my snowmen. Now, I don't necessarily, like, anybody that hasn't summoned a Faithblade to this point, I probably wouldn't encourage you to buy Faithblade, and the reason for that is simply because it will be possibly months and months and months before you see any benefit from the single Faithblade that you bought, because at 9-star versus 10-star teams, Faithblade's going to be essentially useless. I would suggest that possibly buying the skins is worthwhile, because even though I've been going hard at Celestial Island, I still only have 4 skin shards, 2 of which were given as a reward for them stuffing something up. I can't remember what it was exactly. So skin shards are very rare and very slow to acquire. So potentially, if you have one of these heroes, or you're working towards one of these heroes, it will be worth buying their skin. Sigmund is potentially worth buying. Again, similar story to Faithblade in that you shouldn't necessarily purchase him unless you already got maybe 2 copies of him. Sigmund is actually very viable at 9-star, especially for PvE damage. Sigmund is the best PvE damage character in the game, so purchasing him when you've got a couple on the go is probably a good idea. If you don't have a couple on the go, you could also purchase him if you were considering using most of your Prophet Orb rerolls on Fortress. Otherwise, again, although it's cheaper, so it's less of an investment, it may still be quite a while until you naturally come across enough Sigmunds to make it worth your while. Other than that, the Super Casino chips are a waste. Super Casino, for whatever reason, is way overvalued by the devs, and the returns from it are really poor. So stay away from Super Casino chips, both here and on the marketplace. Do not buy gold, do not buy spirit. You acquire enough of it passively as long as you're not wasting your gold re-rolling everything in terms of stones on heroes. So unless you're working towards one of these heroes, your best options for spending Snowmen are the Antler Artifact, which a lot of people will get for free. I think I worked out that it's something like level 172 at the start of the event, should in theory by the end of the event get the Antler Artifact entirely for free. And that's because we will continue getting Snowmen next week. That has been confirmed by the devs. It just won't be the same 1 Snowman per level as the daily login reward, but they will continue dropping from the campaign like this. So the Antler Artifact is a good option and available to a lot of people. Other than that, buying Heroic Scrolls is actually really a good option. Where are we? Summon prizes. If you're somewhere in this region here, and you can buy 100 Prophet Scrolls, and you can get from 400 summons to 500 summons, that is possibly one of the best investments you could make. 5-star gear is ridiculously powerful. It is something like 60% better than 4-star orange gear. So spending 100 scrolls during an event, which is already the best use for it, and then getting the best reward for it, just sounds like a no-brainer to me. So if you're struggling for reaching those last couple of tiers of summon rewards, buying either all Heroic Scrolls or just enough to get you over the line is a really good option. In probably the next 3 events, we're likely to get a Prophet Orb event. So if you're say between about 80 and your 120 mark, maybe as low as 60. You could consider buying some profit orbs just so that you can make it up to the 120 for that event. But in most cases, profit orb events aren't worth doing unless you can hit the top tier. The reward for the first tier is usually pretty reasonable, and then every tier after that is pretty pointless other than the hero right at the end. So my advice is always either hit the 120 or just save for the next profit orb event. But yeah, possibly if you can get yourself over the line, consider buying profit orbs. So at the moment, my priority order, if you like, is the artifact, heroes that you're close to completing, probably not Corpse Demon, although in certain lineups Corpse Demon is quite strong, so possibly. I'm personally not a fan, but as I said, depends on your lineup. The skins, if you already have or are close to the hero, or even just that you definitely intend to work toward that hero, because as I said, getting skin shards is very, very slow. And then finally your heroic and profit orbs to complete either this or the coming profit orb event. And then it's not likely that we will get another use for the tiny snowmen, so right at the end of the week, whatever you've got left over once you've bought heroic scrolls, that is what you can spend on gold and hero spirit. Okay, I'm going to end this video here. Okay, thanks everybody.